I ran out of time in the last video, so we still need to finish up part B of example 3. All we had left to do was to state when it's undefined. So we're going to set the least common denominator equal to 0. So if x plus 4 equals 0, then it would be undefined at -4, and if x minus 1 equals 0, then it would be undefined at +1. All right, let's take a look at example 4. It's the same exact process when we subtract. So we're going to follow the same steps. It's just that when we are subtracting, you need to be careful with signs. The most common mistake that I see on this upcoming quiz is that people are not careful with their signs. We are subtracting the entire numerator that follows. You'll see what I mean as we solve the problem. Okay, so first step is to factor the denominator of each term if possible. The denominator of the first term is a difference of 2 squares, so I would actually factor that as x plus 4, x minus 4. And then the denominator for the second term just remains x minus 4. When identifying the least common denominator, remember we multiply the similarities by the differences. So a similarity would be the x minus 4, and then a difference would be the x plus 4. So we're going to have to multiply one or both terms by a ratio equivalent to 1 so that they can have the same denominator. If we start off with the 2x plus 8 over x plus 4, x minus 4, this already has both of the binomials from the least common denominator, so I don't have to multiply this by anything. However, the second term only has x minus 4, so I need to multiply it by x plus 4 in order to get both of the binomials that are in the least common denominator. But remember, it can't just be multiplied by the denominator. We also need to multiply the numerator by the x plus 4. So really what we have here is 2x plus 8 minus 3 times x plus 4. All over that common denominator, x plus 4, x minus 4. Now, we are subtracting this. So if you were to have distributed the 3 over here in advance, that's fine. Just make sure you keep that negative with it. If I distribute a -3, I get 2x plus 8 minus 3x minus 12. Let's clean this up by combining like terms. I have 2x minus 3x, that's a -x. And then 8 minus 12, that's a -4 over my common denominator. Now, hopefully you notice at this point, I can simplify further. No, the numerator is not exactly the same as one of the binomials in the denominator, but if we pull out a GCF of -1, this would become x plus 4, and that can cancel. So I get -1 over x minus 4 as the final simplified form. Now we need to identify when is it undefined, just like when we were doing it before on the tasks from this past week in 5.2. We don't look at our simplified answer, we look back. And in this case, we look back at the least common denominator. So we're going to set each of these equal to 0. So x is undefined, or x being a positive 4 and a negative 4 would make the functions undefined. Positive 4 I got from this, negative 4 I got from this. Okay, part B of example 4. We need to first see if we can factor the denominators, which we cannot. And then we're going to identify what the least common denominator is. Normally we say we multiply the similarities by the differences, but there are no similarities. So we just need to multiply the two different binomials together. That means I'm going to have my first term, the 2x over x minus 1. I need to multiply that by x minus 2 over x minus 2. And I am subtracting my second term. And since it already has x minus 2, I need to multiply by the x minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay? Once I do that, I can go ahead and subtract. So I have 2x times x minus 2 minus 9 times x minus 1. And the common denominator is right here. We can go ahead and distribute to clean up the numerator. That gives me 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. Negative 9 times x, because I'm bringing that negative with me, is minus 9x. Negative 9 times negative 1 is a plus 9. Okay, let's clean that up even further by combining like terms. And we need to see if we can simplify even further. You should always be checking to see if we can factor and cancel anything out once we've combined like terms. Because this is a case 2 trinomial, I need to multiply the 2x squared by the 9, so that's 18x squared. The factors of 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Is there any way we can get to negative 13 using same signs? No. There's no way. So that doesn't factor, and that's okay. That just means we're done. So that's kind of nice. And all we have left to do is to say when it's undefined. So we have to set each term in the least common denominator equal to 0. The x minus 1 means x equals positive 1. Oops. Positive 1 would make it undefined, and then the x minus 2 means when x equals a positive 2, it would be undefined.